Welcome back to the Quiet Hug podcast with the one and only owner of the iconic Made in Compton store. Bone, how are you today?
I'm good, and yourself?
Good. We're going to have a presentation here shortly, but before we get started, you want to share a quick story maybe about the relaxation robe?
Oh yeah. Well, it all started with me feeling like dads wasn't getting the quality gift that they should get for Christmas and Father's Day. So I went searching high and low for something that feels real nice and soft and feel like it's built to last. And that's what I came up with. I found this luxurious robe. I call it the chinchilla robe.
And it sure does feel great. Absolutely. So, without further ado, we are here at a presentation here. This is, make sure you can see that. Know that the quiet hug, it can mean so many different things. Absolutely, we know that Teddy G is a mascot for the Made in Compton store. If this is your first time tuning in, yes, Teddy G is the Made in Compton Store's mascot. And if you want a Teddy G, great. And if you'd like to donate a Teddy G for a child in foster care, please let us know. And with that in mind, just knowing that there's a Compton in a Box legacy box as well. And if you want to switch out the different t-shirt size you can, but sometimes it just feels nice being in new clothes, and especially from the city, the iconic city of Compton, make you feel so comforting just to know that it is a very rich city. As many people know, it's a small city, but it is very impactful. Bone, you would like to speak about this slide here as you've seen it for the first time?
Yeah. Oh, it looks real nice and comforting. It look like someplace I love to live.
Absolutely, yes. And then you see that sign at the bottom. This part of our overlay, a gentle pause in the middle of a busy world. This is what the Quiet Hug podcast is about. And just knowing that you can look out the window there, and sometimes a quiet hug can be just taking time to reflect. And it's a quiet hug in your mind, your dreams that maybe sometimes you put to the side. But just want to showcase this picture there. And there's another one that follows. And here it is. It says, even if no one said it today, you are not invisible. You are impactful in ways you may never fully see. And as you look at these pictures here, you have the initial space, like the blueprints, and then you go into where it's fully or not as fully um, put together, but there is the space that you can now see versus the blueprint. And sometimes I think that's what happens in the real world. And as much people are being considerate or try to be considerate, sometimes some things are just overlooked, and we just need to take a pause for the cause and say, you know what? Look, I see this, I have this plan, and this just may not be working out right now. But if I just sit quietly and just ponder and just sometimes look at what you have, and then, before you know it, it unveils for what you need. What do you think, Bone?
Oh yeah, it always work out like that. I mean, that's just the way the universe works.
Nice, absolutely. Check this out. It says here introverts, caregivers, background builders, social media versus real life value. Here's a direction, a creative direction. Emotional fatigue from being overlooked. Hmm. Is it really emotional fatigue, or is it really like I have put my dreams on hold? I wants to be on stage. I wants to be in front of the camera. I want some more independence. It could be something else, right? Or is it how invisibility can lead to isolation? because it's just a matter of you feel so tired of, sometimes like people say fighting for attention. Oh, the babies are fighting for attention in the daycare. Or, in the social media world, it is all about attention, about awareness, analytics and all those things. And then sometimes it just seems like you just get bogged down. Like I'm looking at the stones on the table, but it's still something about like pinpointing what your plan is, what your goals, and writing down what you remember that is very important to you and why. And then sometimes the how to get there just happens to unveil itself. So I was just looking at that to share those perspectives. What do you think, Bo?
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's like introverts and caregivers, they are the builders, you know.
Hmm. That's where it starts. That's where it starts. And moving forward, name three things. This is the task. To name three things they did today that matter. So that was the action that I was looking forward to people to think about. So I'm gonna start with you, Bone. If you had to list three things that matter to you today, what would they be?
One thing, we came up with a brilliant plan for the future, how to make things get, better. And it's always good when you plan for betterment. That's what
Hmm.
we're here for, to make it better. Yesterday better, today better than yesterday.
Absolutely. And that's one thing. That's true. I'll give you a minute to think about something else. Space analysis. Like here we see, moving things around. Do you shed light on something new or something that needs light, like the plant there, but that's not the right light. It needs sunlight, and sometimes it's just like, well, where's the space or the environment or the people that can help me to shine, or if it's not shining brighter, it's to help, help shed light on something that I need assistance with, right? So it says shift from external validation to internal recognition. So sometimes you have to dig into the crates, like they say back in the day in the music world, or you have to dig back into those cardboard boxes where you have these files from way yesterday, no, so long ago. The angle is why, as this, I got this part for the screen here from ChatGPT, and it says why waiting to be seen can hurt. That's something to think about or ponder. So why self recognition as power? Use that. We hear quite often where there's sports in sports that they use, their power from within to persevere, even when they were ailing or they had just got hurt on the last quarter, and they just kept going. It's resilience. And then there's those small daily practices that affirm you. So I seen something on Instagram that was saying that a sports somebody in sports, they were still working out when they already have made their money and they retired, but it was just something that they did ever since they were a child. And it's like those habits, they were successful habits. So it's like, why stop those successful habits after either you made it the way you deem success, or the way society deems success? Why stop? So, and then at the same point in time, why not start something new? Even though you may be over 50, and then now you're going to start doing push-ups. Like, why not? It's healthy for you. It can help you with your cardiovascular system, and some people need to exercise for various reasons, but outside of the typical stereotypical manner, which is losing weight. Because sometimes, like you said, you can put muscle on top of fat, And it can just be a little different. It just depends. But just knowing space analysis, whether it's within you, your mindset, your dreams, or physically, and it might just have to dig through something. Even the backpack is there. That might be an old backpack. I was just looking at the picture, and I thought that was pretty neat. That's true. Sometimes you find old what they say, gems. It's just like finding a pot of gold. Like, oh wow, I remember when I used to think like this. That's a quiet hug too. Like, wow. Sometimes those like wow Wednesdays is pretty neat. Like just knowing like when Bone started 13 years ago, these t-shirts was like $25, with the tax or something. So I'm just saying, absolutely. Wow Wednesdays, yes, we do have those as on go on. Just here choosing spaces where you Bone, I want to give you an opportunity. Did you want to share something?
Oh yeah, yeah. I came up with two more things, and
Yes.
one got to do with space analysis. We
Mm,
took a space analysis of the building that we in today, and we found out that we wasn't using our square footage to the full maximum potential.
that's right.
So that was a good eureka moment, and it was like,
Hmm.
okay, let's use what we got and let's use it to help people.
That's
And
right.
that's when we came with some good projections, like we shifting in a world of AI, and it's people that still want to be authentic and they want to use their real material and real content. So we said, why not create like a sound stage for that, where we got where you can do the comedy club or you can do the podcast.
Hmm.
So that's just something that we came up with, just throwing it out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if there was one more thing that something that mattered to you today, what would it be?
That I talked to my son and I helped him get through a kind of like not a rough moment, but a moment where he was at the fork in the road and he was trying to make a decision. So that
Mhm.
was, something that really mattered. I always want to be there for him.
Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Absolutely. And here we are choosing spaces where you are valued, even if it's on the phone call with a loved one, as you just shared. Absolutely. And there's that alignment. When was the last time you felt seen? And then pretty much with alignment is like how do you align yourself to feel seen when you don't feel seen? You know, do you and then how do you go about it? Do you write it down or do you make a call? You consult with somebody when you feel like some people you used to say back in the day, I feel out of sync. Like many of us are learning about AI and in this AI revolution that we're a part of, that sometimes we feel out of sync because we don't understand or things are just new. So we're adjusting. So, but what do you think?
Oh yeah, I feel like like they say, when we go through a renaissance, it's always people that's ahead of the curve, and it's people that's moving with the curve, and people that's moving a little slower than the curve. And the people that's moving a little slower creates anxiety, and it creates a sense of trying to figure out where I'm gonna stand when this renaissance fully take place, and the renaissance is already in full transition mode. So it's
Mm,
one of them things where, kind of got to keep up, with what's going on around you so you can stay relevant, because we're always living in changing times.
mm, absolutely. And as a summary, sometimes people may just be in spaces that don't recognize their light. So, for instance, the quiet work you do, just remember the way you love, the way you endure, it all counts, even when no one applauds it. And it's just a Teddy G, he was be saying, a quiet hug. Yes, indeed. So yeah, I thought that would be pretty neat. So I'm stop sharing that, and thank you always for being so attentive. I know it makes sense, but at the same time, it's pretty neat. A quiet hug can be simply you know, a word of appreciation and encouragement. So this has been the quiet hug. And if there was something you want to share, Bone, before I read this other uh, closing that
Yeah,
was suggested.
Teddy G is always ready to give you a quiet hug. And if you mention Teddy G after your purchase, you can receive a free gift on the Made in Compton store.
Nice, absolutely. And just knowing if this is your first time joining in, just remember that the Quiet Hug podcast is a calm, comforting space designed to meet you right where you are. No pressure, no noise, just presence. In a world that moves fast and demands more, this podcast slows things down and offers something very rare, a moment to breathe, reflect, and feel supported without having to say a word. Each episode delivers gentle conversations, soothing reflections, and meaningful insights centered around emotional wellness, self worth, healing, and quiet strength. Whether you're winding down after a long day, navigating life's challenges, or simply in need of peace, the quiet hug becomes your companion, like a reassuring embrace you didn't know you needed. This is more than a podcast, it's a feeling, a reminder that you are seen, a reminder that you are valued, a reminder that even in silence, you are never alone. The Quiet Hug Podcast, where comfort speaks without shouting. All right, Bone. Well, thank you. Until tomorrow, we have Flashback Fridays, and we're going to review a video from Compton College back in the day. It was a wonderful car show, and it was filled with green cars and green scenery, and it'd be very interesting. So please tune in every podcast and note that it is 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're listening to this podcast from another platform, we appreciate you. Definitely, we are MICPT Channel 12 content on YouTube. Until next time, everybody, have a great, great time.
Peace.